Hello, good day to everyone, especially for those who are applying for teaching one position ng SDO Albay at ng iba pang divisions. So this time, pag-uusapan natin is yung preparation nyo ng lesson planning para po sa demo teaching. It's either limited face-to-face or virtual demo teaching. So ito po yung ating content. It is from the DepEd, the policy guidelines on the daily lesson preparation for the K-12 Basic Education Program, DepEd Order number 42, series of 2016. So let us now start. So at the end of this discussion, you will be able to explain the importance of planning to their everyday lesson and the whole subject. You will realize that to be an effective teacher, one needs to plan and execute his plan well. So napakaganda po na pagplanuhan natin yung ating lesson para maganda din ang kalalabasan nito, 'di ba? So you will create sample lesson plan because this will be used in your demo teaching. So what is instructional planning? Sabi ng DepEd, recognizes that instructional planning is essential to successful teaching and learning. Diba? Napakaganda ng isang gawain kapag pinagplanuhan. Hindi hindi magiging successful ang lesson if it is not planned well. So next is, according to Article 4, Section 2 of the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers, adopted in 1997 through Board Resolution number 435 by the Board of Professional Teachers. So every teacher shall uphold the highest standards of quality education, shall make the best preparation for the career of teaching, and shall be at his best at all times in the practice of his profession. So let us maintain this statement na we must have the highest standards. So what we are aiming is to give quality education. Even po demo teaching lang yan sa sa ranking sa DepEd requirements ng T1 position, still dapat may matutunan yung audience. Okay? So another one is um, the policy is therefore meant to support teachers in upholding quality education standards by affirming the importance of the instructional planning through this daily lesson log or detailed lesson plan. So later on, we will explain the difference of the DLP to DLL. So sa inyong mga applicant, ano ang dapat gawin? Okay? So, this is the DepEd Order number 42 series of 2016 na pwede nyong hanapin sa website ng Department of Education for you to be guided. Sabi ng DepEd Order number 42 is to aim as its teachers is not only effective managing instruction, but also managing the performance of one of their core functions, which is to facilitate learning inside their classroom. So what you are giving is learning, okay? And that is the aim of why we are teaching, okay? Because we are aiming to learn na our students na matuto sa ating tinuturo. There must be a transfer of learning. Sabi sa DepEd Order number 42, it provides the guidelines in the preparation of the daily lesson through the DLP and DLL by teachers from K to 12. So later on, sabi ko kanina, uh, explain natin kung ano ang DLL and DLP. This was also developed in the collaboration with teachers and school heads to ensure that those affected by the policy would be consulted. So, ano yung instructional planning? It is the process of determining what learning opportunities students in school will have by planning the content of instruction. So, I would suggest sa inyong mga applicant na dapat you must be guided on the most essential learning competencies ng subject ninyo. Kung elementary, pipili kayo doon or bubunot. Di ba? Sometimes bubunot. And para sa secondary, you will focus on your major subject. Then selecting teaching materials. What kind of materials you are going to use if face-to-face or if online. and designing the learning activities and grouping methods, designing on the pacing and allocation of the instructional time. So let us be guided na bawat subject area, bawat subject, mayroong minutes, 40 minutes sa iba, 50 minutes sa iba. So that is. Next is research shows that effective teachers organize and plan their instruction. So bear in mind na lahat ng teachers ay dapat pinagpaplanuhan kung ano ang ituturo. With content and performance standards and learning competencies firmly articulated in the K-12 curriculum, it is easier for teachers to carry out both short-term and long-term instructional planning. So what is instructional planning? It increases teachers' chance of carrying out a lesson successfully. Para maging matagumpay ang pagtuturo, kailangan may plano. Allow teachers to be more confident before starting a lesson. Dahil mayroon siyang plano, he or she is confident to deliver the lesson. Inculcates reflective practice and this allows teachers to think about their teaching. So it's very important that there is a plan. Okay? Then, facilitate learning and respond to learners' needs inside the classroom. What is the main need of the learners? Learning. It is the main target why we are teaching them. And inculcates reflective practice. So you are going to reflect and the learners will also reflect. Help teachers master learning area content in the sense of ownership and help teachers relearn what they need to teach. So because of these practice that we are having the demo teaching is for you to reflect also if what needs to be improved. Ano ba yung kailangan? Kaya pala ako mababa sa ganito kasi mababa ako sa demo teaching kasi may di ako nagawa during the demo teaching. Yan. So another one is help teachers know their learners teach what students need to learn and ensure the curriculum coverage. So since we are going to do a demo teaching, wala na muna tayong curriculum coverage. It depends on the panel kung anong ibibigay sa inyong lesson or kung anong ibibigay sa inyong subject for elementary and for secondary, stick to your major. Okay? Help teachers identify expectation for learners, choose the materials, and organize the sequential activities. So, according to Eration, the instructional process, one is planning instruction. So, this time, pag nabigay na sa inyo yung lesson, you will now plan the instruction. Then after you plan the instruction, there is a schedule, demo teaching, and that is the delivery of instruction. Then after the delivery of instruction, there will be an assessment of learning. This means that teaching begins even before a teacher steps in front of a class and begins a lesson. This also means that teachers are expected to be able to organize and develop a plan for teaching, implementing that plan, and measure how effectively they implemented a plan. So, the most important is um, you have a plan and you must execute the plan, and you will evaluate or you will assess your performance based on the plan. So, let us now proceed to the lesson planning. Ito yung kailangan yung matutunan. Ito yung masyado yung dapat tutukan. Yung lesson planning is one way of planning instruction. So, lesson planning is a way of visualizing a lesson before it is taught. Kung pinabunot kayo ng objective, so i-imaginein mo na ano ang gusto mong mangyari. No? Pero kung pinapili kayo, maganda because you can easily choose ano ba yung pinakamaganda at ano pinakamagaan sa inyo na i-deliver na lesson. According to Scrivener, planning a lesson entails prediction, anticipation, sequencing, and simplifying. Lesson planning is a critical part of the teaching and the learning process. Let us emphasize this, critical part. So, kailangan talaga ng oras, kailangan talaga ng effort, kailangan talaga na kasi kapag mag-a-apply ka sa DepEd, sa teaching position, dapat do your best, give your best. Ano po? So dapat may lamang ka sa iba. So ano ba yung objective ng lesson planning? The main objective of the lesson planning is learning. Why we plan? Because we wanted to learn our learners. Lesson planning helps teachers set learning targets for learners Also helps teachers guarantee that learners reach those targets. And by planning lessons, teachers are able to see to it that daily activities inside the classroom lead to learner progress and achievement or the attainment of learning outcomes. So the importance of the lesson planning is to increase a teacher's chance of carrying out a lesson successfully. So, hindi maganda sa isang teacher na hindi niya pinagpaplanuhan ang kanyang ituturo. Lesson planning inculcates reflective practice about the teaching and learning process. By planning lessons daily, teachers are able to think about, reflect on different strategies. So pag-iisipan mo, doon tayo nagkakatalo, doon tayo nagkakaroon ng ng labanan sa strategies. Kasi sometimes may kaparehas ka sa topic, may kaparehas ka sa objectives kung pinag-decide kayo na napipili, 'di ba? So doon titingnan doon. Halimbawa, may parehas yung inyong objective. So doon labanan sa strategies. Okay. So additionally, lesson planning helps teacher master learning area content. So before the demo teaching, aralin na yung lesson plan. During the preparation of effective lesson plan, teachers are able to learn what they need to teach. Ano yung kailangan malaman. Then the classroom will prepare teachers, show ownership of the learning area they teach, and help teachers know their learners and teach the students what need to learn. So ano ba yung kailangang matutunan ng mga bata? Yun ang iyong focus. So well-prepared and well-planned lesson are fundamental to ensuring delivery of quality teaching and learning in schools. So this is now the DLL and the DLP. Yung DLL, para ito sa mga matagal na sa service. Yung DLP ay ito yung mga baguhan. So, who are required to prepare? Yung DLL ay sa amin, yung DLP po ay at least 1 year of teaching experience. Pero dahil po mag-a-apply pa lang po tayo, commonly po ang pinapagawa ng mga panel, DLP, Detailed Lesson Plan. So instead, they shall be required to fill out a daily lesson lang. Ito po sa amin ang pinapagawa. Then, yung DLP po ay sa mga newly hired at sa mga applicants. O ito, applicant teachers, dapat DLP. You will prepare DLP. So, detailed lesson plan template, ano po ba? Ito tandaan ha, objectives. Makukuha ito sa most essential learning competencies, sa MELC, or sa learning competencies. Okay, ngayon, dahil pandemic, usually ang ginagamit yung MELC, Most Essential Learning Competencies. So you will look for the content standards, performance standards, and the learning competencies. Makikita ito sa Most Essential Learning Competencies or sa curriculum guide. So you will also write the content, you will write the learning resources, ano yung gagamitin ninyong materials. Okay. Then the procedures before the lesson. Yan. So the most important is lalagay ka dyan ng motivation. Kung reading, may dapat after motivation, there must be motive question. So that is. Then during the lesson is mga group activities, and during the lesson is now the discussion of the content of your lesson. Then after the lesson, there will be an assessment and assignment. Ayan. So, yung assignment natin optional, then remarks and reflections. So, yun ang DLP. So, parts of the lesson before the lesson. This is the lesson opening or the beginning of the lesson implementation. So, dito tayo magsisimula. And before the actual lesson, the teacher can do a variety of things. Dapat you can review the past lesson. Since mas maganda na kung mas maganda kung demo teaching, wag na muna kayo mag-review ng past lessons since buti na lang kung naibigay ninyo sa mga kasamahan nyo or sa mga mag-o-observe, pwede naman. Pero mas maganda sana kung proceed na kayo sa new lesson. Magbibigay na kayo ng motivation. Then after that is you will now introduce the lesson. Then you will inform the class the connection of the previous to the new lesson. And you will now state the lesson objectives. Okay po? So after presenting, our lesson for today is blah, blah, blah. In this lesson, you are expected to blah, 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 blah. Okay. So before the lesson is you are going to check the learner's background if they have the idea in the new lesson. It can also be time to connect the new lesson to the prior knowledge. Okay, yung dating alam ng estudyante. It is during this time that teachers are encouraged to learners to be interested in the new lesson. And teachers should also allow learners to ask questions. Mas maganda po na we are encouraging them to ask questions. Ano po? So, the lesson proper, ito yung middle part of the lesson. So you will now discuss, you will now explain, model, demonstrate, and illustrate the concept in order for them to picture out, in order for them to visualize, to internalize the content of your lesson. And this is the part where you are helping them to understand, to master the lesson, and para po sa kanilang pag-uwi, para po sa kanilang paglabas ng kanilang classroom, ay mayroon silang natutunan. So, there must be certain topic, no? And after the lesson po is you will now sum up, you will now give the generalization, you will now wrap up the activities, and you will give evaluation. You will now assess if they learned from your discussion. So, sa DLP po, magbibigay tayo ng formative assessment. So, same with our DLL, pero yung DLP, dahil kayo po ay mag-a-apply, so, dapat ipag-isipan din natin yung assessment method. Ano po? So, most importantly is dapat makita ninyo na maipakita nyo na may maganda kayong assessment method in a particular lesson plan. Okay? So, yan po ang ating tips sa pagle-lesson plan. So, good luck po. And take note, pahabol. Guided po dapat tayo ng PPST, Philippine Professional Standard for Teachers. So, please be guided. So, dapat meron kayo sa lesson planning nyo, meron kayong across the curriculum, meron kayong ICT integration, and you must develop the higher order thinking skills. Okay po? So, thank you so much, and God bless everyone.